If I were to say to someone who's homophobic, go f yourself, you homophobic. Yes, I told them what they deserve. However, they're never going to learn how to be accepting. I'm around a racist person. I'm just not racist. They are, yes. But how am I supposed to help them ever? By cutting them off? No.
Recently, QTCinderella has been under fire for some comments she made while on a stream with vanillamace and Katie. It's about supporting or being friends with people that are racist, transphobic, or anything that is very negative to a specific community. And also, she said she wouldn't cut them off but try and coach them into being better. The comments were received so badly that they ended up hiding all of their VODs, and QT even threatened to strike down people who posted the VODs anywhere on any platform. So I just want to say this now. I do not own this VOD. This is not my content. Why don't we dive in with the first thing that was said on this stream?
The homophobic jokes, they're like, but then you just, if you still hang out with someone like that, then you just support it.
You're not allowed to like coach me through that, because at the end of the day, I am somebody that's like, I'm an ally. Like I was raised in a very religious family. Unfortunately, there are people in my family that are racist. There are people in my family that are bigoted. There are people in my family that are homophobic. There's people in my family that are transphobic. Like, but I still love my family, right? And I still know that there are that members of my family have good qualities. And what's most important to get people to love other people is to love them. Fighting hate with hate will never get anything anywhere. If I were to say to someone who's homophobic, go f yourself, you homophobic. Yes, I told them what they deserve. However, they aren't ever gonna feel accepting. They're never gonna learn how to be accepting. Like, do you understand that if you just write people off because they believe different things than you, they're never going to be exposed to why it's good to be around people that don't think like you? Right?
Don't get me wrong, when it comes to family members, I feel like it's going to be a little bit more difficult because you can't instantly cut a family member off. I mean, they're still your family. People around them are still going to like them. When it comes specifically to friends and people you are literally choosing to have in your life, you're choosing to allow racist people, bigotry, or anything like that to be in your life. I feel like that is kind of on you. In this scenario specifically, you are trying to rehabilitate somebody whose mind might already be corrupt. And that's a constant thing. They truly do feel like that minorities or any type of person inside the LGBTQ plus should not be accepted, then you would literally have to challenge them every single second of every single day. You can't just accept them into your life and treat them like a normal person and let their bigotry fly and laugh about it being like they are just a quirky person, because then at the end of the day, you're just allowing somebody to be a bigot and be accepted. That's pretty weird behavior, and a lot of people are actually calling QT out on this point on TikTok.
This situation specifically gets me angry because I've had to deal with this for the last year. You can't just rehabilitate someone by being friends with them. If someone is a racist or a homophobe or a bigot or this and that, and you don't constantly challenge them on it, and you're actively hanging out with them, and you're cool with them, and you treat them like they're a normal person, which they're not going to get better. They need to be ostracized. They need to feel bad. You can't, oh, buddy, we're good friends, you're my pal, you might be racist, but like, we go way back. You can't do that to someone and expect them to change. You're not challenging these people if you're playing board games with them and going out to dinner and being their friend and just having conversations about sports and games and the weather and how their day was in relationships and this and that. This needs to be at the forefront of every single interaction you have. If you want to like maintain a relationship with a horrible person, you need to actively be working every day to try and change them. Not just, oh, well, we're buddies, we're friends. Like, this means more than our friendship. Yes, it
People online were genuinely upset with her statement, and don't worry, we have more to go through inside of this VOD, but it just feels very odd to say this, especially when, again, you're an adult, you're older, you can choose to have these people around you. It's not like you're forced to be around people who have these ideas. But she does go into a story where QT explains an interaction that she has with her father, often because of a stepbrother she has that is trans, and him not being able to accept that and using the wrong pronouns consistently.
My stepbrother is trans, and my dad refuses to use the correct pronouns. He doesn't understand why it's so important, right? And it drives me crazy, and it drives my stepbrother crazy, of course. But I've had to say to my dad, you know, it's not gonna hurt you. It's not gonna hurt you to say the correct pronouns, but it does hurt him when you say the wrong one. You know what the difference is I'm able to have this conversation with my dad because I'm open-minded and we love each other. My stepbrother just says off and won't talk to my dad. So there's no progress being made. And so you can believe what you want. You guys can you can say that. You can say to me, no, you're supporting it. I'm not. I don't support that my father is transphobic at times. I don't support that. But I still love my dad and I'll go to coffee with him tomorrow. But I don't support that.
Again, I feel like the conversation gets a little bit harder, specifically when it comes to family members and someone like your father. But the same sentiment still stands. At what point do you realize this person is beyond rehabilitation, is beyond any type of help you can provide them, is beyond any of that, especially if the person that they're directly harming with their comments, the things that they're saying, is done with them and cannot accept them? You still trying to rehabilitate them in your own way seems to not be working, just if you're gonna again just treat them like a normal person. Again, I feel like I understand it gets weird when it becomes like your father, but at a certain point in time, you do just have to realize these people are beyond any type of help you feel like you were trying to provide them, especially since even in her own story, she doesn't mention any type of progress she made with her father. She did mention that she's still going to go out to coffee with him, but didn't mention, oh yeah, he changed in this way, he changed in that way, just that you are still trying to change him and help him with no real progress being mentioned at any point in time. And I feel like that's the biggest thing that people are having with this QTCinderella argument in general, is that at no point in time is QT really even referring to people that are beyond help, because that is the case. Some people just will not change, and no matter how much you might want to try and help them, you're just not going to by being friends with them and again accepting them in the ways that she is.
The world is not as black as white as everyone thinks. Like you guys, you can't fight hate with hate. It doesn't get you anywhere. It literally does not get you anywhere. Like, it's so important to, like, as someone who's very open-minded, to be around closed-minded people and show them that it's okay to be open-minded is actually one of the most important things you can do. Like, as a human, it really is. I get it. You guys can think what you think. I'm not going to change though. I'm not going to.
Yeah.
I will never believe that if I'm kind to a hateful person, that means I agree with them. I will never believe that. No matter what you guys say, I won't believe it, because at the end of the day, if I'm around a racist person, I'm just not racist. I'm not. Me, I am not. They are, yes. But how am I supposed to help them ever? By cutting them off? No.
Cutting them off after a certain point definitely will help, because at a certain point, you're just becoming an enabler of this behavior. Unless you're challenging them literally 24/7, the basis of every single one of their arguments has to be a challenging of their views. And if that's not the case, then you really are just enabling them, treating them like they're just another human being. Even though they might think black people don't deserve any type of rights, even though they might disrespect trans people, gay people, talk about how they don't deserve rights, how their beliefs aren't valid. That's not your friend Joey or Zoe being quirky. It's them being a bigot and a racist, and that's something that should not be accepted. The pattern that she's more seeming to build is that having them not be racist, transphobic, or homophobic around her, which doesn't make it any better, because just because they're not doing it around her doesn't mean they are not doing it at all.
I also think, I think a lot of people are misinterpreting a little bit about like what I'm saying too. I don't judge my stepbrother for not talking to my
No, not at all.
dad. My stepbrother
his
is allowed
feelings
to
are
do
valid.
that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. He is so allowed to be pissed at my dad, and clearly, like, my dad is very hurtful when he uses the wrong pronouns. It makes me sad, right? It makes me very, very sad, and that's totally fine that that's his boundary. However, I simply believe that I can coach people into love, and I know that's insane of me to say, but I do think I can get my dad to not be transphobic eventually. I believe that.
But that's the thing, and it's happened. Like, there are so many stories of people out there being like quite literally being like, oh, I quite literally was racist, or I was homophobic, or I was XYZ, whatever, transphobic. And then they literally are like, and then I met someone who either was one of these or something like that. And then, like, you see these people, and then I feel like people, like, I'll see videos like that, and then people be like, wow, people can change. That's so amazing.
I have the privilege. I have the privilege. I need to use it, right? I'm a straight white woman. It'd be insane if I didn't use the privilege that I have to help people navigate their bigotry.
Don't get me wrong, I definitely do feel like if you have conversations with certain people who do have these ideas, you can try and change their mind. Obviously, just doing nothing about it is going to consistently have them think the same thing. But then we come to that same roadblock where it's like, all right, when is enough enough? I can't be friends with somebody and in 3 years into our friendship, I'm still trying to challenge them and convince them to not be homophobic. At a certain point, you just got to cut those people off, especially when you don't believe in the things that they believe in. That's just not going to work out. I want the fact that I am happy in this segment that QT did acknowledge her privilege, because that's what a lot of people were also pointing at her, saying that this is a very privileged take, and she understands it herself. She's a straight white woman, so she's going to be around these people the most, and they're not going to target her with any of this bigotry. So I am happy she did acknowledge that. This take is still crazy in my eyes. It genuinely is, and I don't know if I can agree with it full-heartedly. While I do want this world to be more accepting, and I do want people to change, there are just some people that are beyond changing. There are some people that are beyond saving, and it just seems like in QT's eyes, eventually you will be able to help them and eventually you will be able to save them. And that's just not the case for everyone. Along with the fact that it doesn't seem like she was even that confident in what she was saying, because she is trying to get people taken down because they're reposting or using any of these clips.
Someone said that there's someone uploading my VOD onto Twitter. Is that what you said? If you could send my mod the username, I will happily send them a cease and desist. Or you can give them a heads up for me. Or if they're watching this right now, I will sue you. I'm not afraid of doing that. That's a money waste. It's not, actually. It's like relatively cheap for me. I'm happy to spend $500 to prove a point.
I feel like this is a very drastic measure to go to when you have a controversial take or a take that doesn't just land well with everybody. That's just going to happen from time to time, especially as a live streamer who talks often. But I don't think going to this extent is going to help your case in any way, shape, or form. It definitely is odd to me and very weird. And I do want to clarify, hey, in case QT is seeing this, I did not use QT's VOD. This is somebody else's VOD. So I don't sue me. I'm just saying my opinion. People in the comment section are just saying their opinion. We do not deserve to be sued. But at the end of the day, that is just how I feel. If you want to tell me how you feel, the best place to do would be the comment section down below. And if you did enjoy this video, maybe consider giving it a like. And if you enjoy content like this, then maybe consider subscribing, because I post like this every single week. Never miss on a single upload. If you get that bell icon, goes to be notified the millisecond a video goes live. That's enough for me. I'm gonna see you guys in the next one. Peace out.